you understand this, you will understand, and all of this chaos is going to start making sense, okay? Something very big is happening this year, and it's part of the structure around which all of this chaos is occurring. Because why is Elon Musk raiding the Treasury? Why are they suspending federal funding? Like, this goes beyond being a Democrat or a Republican. This is anarchy. This is just taking all this stuff over. So why at the core are we doing this? In addition to just sheer hatred, because as we see, Elon Musk, maybe you can take the boy out of apartheid, but you can't take apartheid out of the boy, apparently. He's out here doing Nazi salutes, so whatever. But in addition to a white supremacist, like whatever it is that they want to do, let's talk about, you always comes down to follow the money. There is a very important deadline that is happening this year. In 2017, Donald Trump and the Republican Party forced through one of the largest tax giveaways to the rich in modern American history. This was in 2017. We are talking about grotesque levels of tax cuts that they issued at that time. We're talking about, importantly, some of the most broad-based tax cuts for the rich and the 1% in this country that we have ever seen. That happened in 2017. Tax cuts had a sunset period, and that sunset period occurs in 2025. 2025. So now we're here. And the problem is that they have to pay for it. They have to pay for it. These tax cuts are to the tune, the cost of these tax cuts are to the tune of about $4 trillion. $4 trillion. And so if the US federal government is about to, if these tax cuts for the wealthiest people are going to expire this year, and if these tax cuts are going to cost $4 trillion, and how are you going to pay and square that circle? There's two ways that you do that. One is that you tax the poor, and you tax the working class, and you tax the middle class. You raise taxes on that, which, by the way, they are proposing. I think if you make less than $300 or $350-ish thousand, your taxes will be going up. And actually, the further below that number you make, the more your taxes are going to go up by. So, if you're making $28,000, they want you to be paying way more in taxes, especially proportionately, than if you're making $150,000. But they are proposing all of our taxes to go up. That's one way. But guess what? That's not going to that doesn't make up the difference. It may make up a small bit, but it doesn't make up the difference. $4 trillion, you are not going to make that by taxing people who make $28,000 a year a little bit more. Doesn't make it up. Math doesn't square. So they're going to do that, but it's not enough. The second thing that they're going to go after are massive programming cuts, or the massive programming cuts. What they're trying to do is that under the guise of waste, they are going to try to cut and gut some of the most essential federal programs that we've got. In fact, how do we know this? Because the Republican majority and their budget had a sensitive internal document that got leaked a couple of weeks ago. And I can tell you that I read through it. And they identified bit by bit everything from the mortgage interest tax deduction to, which I raised a couple of weeks ago, to Medicaid itself. They have identified as wanting to eliminate in order to pay for Elon Musk's tax breaks, Jeff Bezos's tax breaks, Mark Zuckerberg's tax breaks, and other giveaways and other sorts of giveaways to the wealthiest people and corporations in this country. And the biggest one, lock in everybody, okay? The biggest one that they are going after is Medicaid, okay? They have Medicaid in their sights, and they want to cut $2 trillion. Remember? They need to find $4 trillion. And they've got like, maybe, this is $4 trillion. They maybe have like one knuckle in tax increases in terms of paying for that. They maybe have like one knuckle in tax increases on middle class and low income people. You're just not going to get that money for it. And they do not have, I mean, you can cut every wasteful practice and you're not going to get close.